Hello and welcome, BitMonger family. So today I'm going to be giving a news update on the Philippines and in particular Cebu City, and my hopes and prayers go out to those people there. It has experienced some devastating flooding that we are about to witness here. Check this out, guys. This is really sad.
Cebu City has been placed under a state of calamity due to the effects of the storm. Let's get more details from our correspondent, Annie Perez. Annie?
Yes, that's right, Denise. It was Cebu City Mayor Nestor Archival who confirmed that the city is under a state of calamity after it was recommended by their Cebu City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council after a series of meetings. Archival said that the declaration is not just a response to the effects of the current weather system now, but it's also a proactive preparation from now until December as the city anticipates for more weather disturbances in the coming months. With this declaration, quick response funds will be released for the use of flood mitigation efforts, as well as repair, preparation, desilting, and declogging in waterways and critical areas of the city. With this, the City Command Center is also asked to be manned 24/7, and all their personnel are not allowed to go on leave, and all radio communication lines should be active to ensure swift emergency response, especially this weekend. The Cebu City Social Welfare Services is also asked to be on standby to provide assistance to families who may be displaced due to the flooding. As of
Wow, look at that, guys. It is just horrendous. I feel so sorry for the people there. It is just, it's very sad. Now, I'm going to segue off of this into why you guys might want to reconsider retiring or spending significant amounts of time or investing into the Philippines, guys. And let's take a look at this. That's not it. So, using Grok AI, I wanted to know what country has the highest risk for disaster and social vulnerability. That's kind of difficult to spit out. Anyways, you got the picture. And voila, here's the answer. The Philippines has the highest disaster risk according to the 2024 World Risk Index with a score of 46.91 due to its high exposure to natural hazards like typhoons. Yes, it's in Typhoon Alley. Almost every year you hear about it getting hit by a typhoon. Next one, earthquakes. Yes, the Philippines is on the ring of fire, you know. Often earthquakes, tremors, and floods. And for some reason, I don't know why it didn't include volcanoes, but it's also a volcanic. There's volcanoes all over the Philippines. In fact, last year one went off, and that's also a risk, guys. So here we are. We got the highest disaster risk. It's the highest country for getting hit by natural disasters within Southeast Asia. Why would you consider wanting to live in a place like this that is known for all three of the big boys? We got typhoons, which is the same thing as a hurricane, but they just call them typhoons in the Eastern Hemisphere. Then we got earthquakes. We all know earthquakes can be devastating as well. They can also cause tsunamis. They do cause tsunamis. So yeah, I mean, considering all of these things, you know, typhoons, earthquakes, floods, volcanoes, you know, I don't understand why you'd want to risk, you know, investing any kind of money or time or putting yourself at that type of risk. And we do know when those types of events happen, crime rates spike. That could put you more at risk. You know, it says the Central African Republics ranks highest in vulnerability, driven by poverty, weak infrastructure, limited coping capabilities. So, well done, Philippines. You guys beat out Central African countries. That's not saying much, is it now? All right. So let's take a look at this now. This one I found kind of interesting. So I asked, rank the countries in Southeast Asia based on crime rate. Cambodia, number 1. So I know a lot of you guys that are, considering not going to the Philippines. Usually the next one on your list is Cambodia, and that's because you guys are tight on money. In most cases, you're looking for the cheapest deals. You're looking for the place where you can live for the cheapest. Well, Cambodia has a quite high on the crime index, something you might want to consider. This next one really shocked me, Malaysia, and we'll look at that in a second. But Malaysia was 50. Myanmar, I don't know where it's getting those numbers from. It's a war zone right now, but not surprised. Indonesia, Philippines. So the Philippines is right in the middle. There should be another 2 countries in here. There should be Brunei, and, not that, but Timor-Leste. So it would be ranked right in the middle. But let's face it, we all know that a lot of people don't report crimes. And I can tell you right now, you go into certain cities, certain places, it is higher. And that's what brings me to this next point when I was looking at Malaysia, because I thought it was very strange, because Malaysia is generally very safe. The time I spent in there, I never felt any sort of sense of vulnerability or fear of being, robbed or anything like that. I mean, nothing like it. I mean, compared to Manila, when I lived in Manila, as soon as you go outside your little bubble in Manila, it's a shithole for the most part, and you're seeing grinding poverty and trash and people just scraping by, and you're getting guys eyeballing you, sizing you up. Very, very different. And at nighttime it even gets more sketchy in Manila as soon as you go outside that bubble. So I was really shocked to see Malaysia at this high. So I looked into it and I'm like, well, Malaysia's crime index. So I'm like, why is Malaysia's crime index high in Southeast Asia? And it says Malaysia's crime index is perceived as high in Southeast Asia based on recent data, particularly from Numbio's crime index, which ranks Kuala Lumpur as the 3rd most dangerous city in the region with a crime index of 60. Behind Manila and Quezon City. So the 2 highest places where you have the most crime happen to be in the Philippines. Like I said, you go into cities, it's going to be generally crime is higher. That's just the way it is, guys. And based on this, it talks about most of it was not robbery or that type of stuff. It was just property crimes. So basically, them taking, stealing vehicles or that type of stuff. So I don't know. It was interesting to look into this organized crime and trafficking, and I gotta say, there is quite a bit of organized crime and trafficking. When you go to Kuala Lumpur and you go into the nightlife zone, you can see ladies from all over Southeast Asia. You got, and China. You got Chinese hoes. You got, Thai hoes, Cambodians, Burmese, Filipinos. You see a lot of Filipino hoes there as well. They're basically, that's a big issue there. So that doesn't surprise me. But, yeah, if you're not a good-looking girl, you probably don't have to worry about getting abducted there or being forced into working. Anyways, next thing. I asked it, I excluded Myanmar because it's a war zone. And it's not something that really necessarily needs to be on the radar right now. Most people aren't going to go there due to what's happening there. So based on the 2024 Corruption Perceptions Index and by Transparency International, which scores countries from 0, highly corrupt, to 100, very clean, here's the ranking of Southeast Asian countries, excluding Myanmar from the list to most corrupt. So Singapore is the cleanest. Malaysia. See the disconnect there? Singapore, the next one was Malaysia. That's kind of surprising. And then we have Timor, Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, Laos, Philippines, and Cambodia. So Philippines is right up there, guys. It is one of the most corrupt countries in Southeast Asia. So another reason why you might want to reconsider moving or spending money or investing time there. Now, then throw on top of what my video yesterday, which talks about how men can get thrown in jail purely on allegations from some little Filipino bimbo. You know, she can say that you verbally abused her, and the policeman will throw you in jail right away. The corruption level is off the chart there, guys. You know, this is another reason why you might want to reconsider thinking about moving to the place just because it's cheap and they speak broken English, okay? Think about it, guys. Be smart, all right? Very important. Now, if you're really set on having a Filipino girlfriend, this is how I would manage it. I would import her into one of these other Southeast Asian countries. The Philippines is part of the ASEAN agreement, which means those ladies, they don't need a visa. They can get on a plane and they can fly to all the countries in Southeast Asia. And they can stay, I don't know, you have to look it up, but you know, probably anywhere between 60 to 90 days they can stay in the country. You fly her in, costs you $100-$150. Big deal. You got your little Filipino girlfriend in a country where, you know, where you're protected, okay? You're not going to necessarily get, you know, scammed by her and her family. Take her out of that element and you're golden, okay, guys? Anyways, some things to consider. Why you may not want to be retiring or investing a lot of money, any money for that matter, unless it's maybe a stock, you know, in the Philippines. Okay, guys? Wake up. Smell the coffee. I know that all the little cute ladies, the fact that it's cheap and you can actually, you know, be a player there because the women are desperate for old, saggy old men. You know, you guys, you know, don't let that be your driving factor, guys. Move it to the side. You can still, you know, have a good time in other parts of Southeast Asia or just import those ladies in, like I said. Anyways, there you have it. Hope you guys are all doing well. And monger on.